The Garden of Eden is not merely the place where God's plan for humanity was betrayed. It is the scene where a philosophical cycle was first drawn, a cycle that continues to shape our relationship with the land and drives our current farming systems. Before eating the fruit, Adam dwelt in a state of pure consciousness, a mind without knowledge of the world as we understand it. He was, in a sense, blind to objects and labels. We call this state the Epoché. Adam was perfectly obedient to God's command. The meaning of the fruit was absolute. In Adam's mind, the fruit meant death. This divine meaning sealed his consciousness into a single possibility, not to eat. This is what Edmund Husserl calls intentionality. The fact that consciousness is always directed towards something. In this moment, Adam's intentionality and God's intentionality toward the fruit were perfectly synchronized. No gap between command and perception. But when the snake approached Eve, his plan was to introduce a conflicting intentionality. The Garden of Eden became a battleground of intentionalities. Husserl might say that the snake attempted to redirect Adam's and Eve's consciousness toward a transformed meaning of the fruit, a shift in the Noema itself. The fruit no longer appeared as death, but as a medium of self-awareness, as knowledge of good and evil, as a source of desire, something to be eaten again and again. Once Eve is convinced, a chain of acts is set into motion. First, they eat the fruit, then they clothe themselves, then they hide from the presence of God. These are precisely what Husserl calls Noesis, the act of consciousness, the ways experience generates new meanings and reshapes the world as it appears to us. From the Garden of Eden to modern farming systems, an outstanding question emerges. What philosophical pattern governs the human relationship with agricultural land? For Adam to stretch out his hand toward the fruit is already a noetic act. To taste it is a new lived experience. That experience alters his noema, transforming the meaning of the garden itself. His intentionality toward the land shifts. New noetic acts emerge, like cultivating, tilling, producing. And with each act, new experiences arise. The Adamic Fall, sparked by the snake's intentionality, marks the beginning of a new intensified relationship with the earth. In this sense, our current relationship with the land begins with a phenomenological transformation, a reorientation of intentionality, a reconfiguration of the noema, and a cascade of noetic acts that turn the garden into a productive field. This is what we can call the phenomenological cycle, a cycle in which the epoche remains at the center, always capable of being reawakened to open a new way of experiencing the field. As agriculture evolved from Adam to his sons to modern systems, new forms of intentionality were introduced. Today, digital agricultural intentionality is becoming dominant. The farmer is told, if you have the data, if you adopt these technologies, you will know everything. But such an intentional orientation can only take root if the farmer's noema supports it, if the land the crops and the practice of farming begin to appear primarily through data, sensors, dashboards, and algorithms. In practice, the farmer often finds himself negotiating between two worlds: the soil under his boots and the numbers on his screen. Here, the Epoché becomes powerful once again by suspending, even briefly, the technological attitude by bracketing the belief that more data always means more knowledge. The farmer can return to a more direct experience of the field and ask, how is the field actually showing up to me now? What aspects of the field remain invisible to the data? These are the core questions of the PHS framework, the transformation of lived experience into data without losing its essence. Next, we will explore the concept of horizon and the multiplicity of the Noema through the Irish famine of the 19th century. My name is Paul Celicourt. Thank you for watching this episode. Cogito.